Our top focus this morning, first suspected case of Ebola in India. A 26-year-old Indian national who was returning from Liberia was quarantined at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi on the 10th of November. As a precautionary measure, he was isolated at the Airport Health Organization's quarantine center in Delhi. His 3 blood samples were sent to the National Center for Disease Control in the capital and they were found negative for Ebola virus disease. It is a known fact, though, that during recovery from Ebola virus disease, people continue to shed the virus in body fluids for variable periods up to 90 days from the time of clinical cure. Doctors found that this individual did not have any symptoms of the disease. However, he is being kept in isolation in the special health facility of Delhi Airport Health Organization till such time that his body fluids test negative and he is found medically fit to be discharged.
Specifically, we are concerned about our own country. Government of India should take it as a criteria that internal secretions tested should be negative. See, at the moment, there is no panic to the public. The panic has to be with the ministry, not with the public. Because ministry has taken a role that they made it notifiable, they have designated hospitals. The ministry is the link between Ebola and general public. Ministry should not allow it to be transmitted to the general public, and that's the reason of that you quarantine the patients.
First suspected case of Ebola in India, a 26-year-old Indian national who was returning from Liberia was quarantined at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Let's get a word from our correspondent Jugal Purohit, who's with us on the phone line from the national capital. Jugal, the individual has been quarantined, but the good news is that screening at the airport was able to detect that there was something wrong with him.
Well, Simi, we actually need to put things into perspective. This particular young man, a 26-year-old man who was returning from Liberia on the 10th of November, was carrying with him a certificate from the Liberian government saying that he has been cured of Ebola in that very country. However, as is the procedure, 90 days after an individual is cured of Ebola, traces can be found in his semen and his blood. And if at all that individual indulges in sexual activity, then it could be transmitted. So it is this period of 90 days which has now, caused this entire quarantine effect to come into place. It's not that he has been detected or that the authorities at the airport have detected him. He is the one individual, since every person coming in from West Africa has to, in that sense, undergo a screening. He had come up and said that he had a certificate of being cured, but the government, as per the procedure, cannot take a chance in the 90-day period after an individual is cured, and he will, in that sense and for that reason, remain in the airport premises, in the quarantine area for a period of 90 days till his semen and blood traces also show a complete absence of
Jugal, you're raising a very important point here. I want to ask you, what are the kind of screening measures that we have in place at the Delhi airport or other international airports for that matter?
Well, Simi, there are elaborate screening arrangements and every flight, and there are several airlines also apart from destinations which are earmarked so that every passenger alighting from these airlines and from these destinations are screened at the airport. There are teams from the Health Ministry, there are teams from several other Science and Technology Ministries, Seaport, Customs, Airport Authorities, everyone. Almost 13 to 14 organizations of the government are involved in this activity. In fact, yesterday the health minister also chaired a high-level meeting of all these 13 organizations to just keep a check and also to better coordinate among each other. So the government on its side is saying that it's doing all it can, and this particular case, according to the health authorities, does not merit any alarm, because it's an individual who's been cured of Ebola. He has a certificate saying so. The only problem out here is that the 90-day period also has to be observed, and some traces were found in his semen, which is why he will be in quarantine.
Jugal, thanks so much for that update. We're going to keep coming back to you for more.